Well everyone, it's time for us to come and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A55 and compare it against the Samsung Galaxy S24 and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now I will definitely tell you, in my personal opinion, if I'm going to go through and buy a phone, the Samsung Galaxy S24 is a substantially better phone in almost every single way, and I can't really think of a way where the S24 is a worse phone. Even from a price tag standpoint, there's a lot of similarity here before that there never was before, at least earlier this year. So we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video. If you want to pick up these phones, this phone, the S24, A55, any phone I'd recommend throughout this video for the cheapest prices I can find, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these phones, the Samsung Galaxy A55 on the front of this phone has a 6.6-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 120Hz. It's a 1080p panel, it gets 1000 nits of brightness, and it's a good panel for sure, but it's a pretty basic panel at that. Like, you're not really going to go look at this phone and buy it and expect to have like an amazing device on this thing. It's going to be like a pretty basic device as far as I can tell, and that's just kind of what ends up happening when you're getting these types of phones. So with the A series, they're not going to be the best looking panels of all time. They're going to be fairly basic for the most part. And like I said before, that's just going to kind of what ends up happening for the most part with these types of devices. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S24, this type of device, on the front of this particular phone, you're getting a 6.2-inch dynamic LTPO AMOLED display. So with this type of phone, it's a 1080p panel, which is amazing. It's 120Hz, and I definitely do think if I'm going to go through and purchase a phone, this is probably one of the best panels you can probably buy this year. It's almost bezel-less. It has that hole punch display, which is so nice. Fingerprint sensor in the display. Like, it is by far one of my favorite panels of this year. And if I'm going to go ahead and buy one, it's better. I mean, this is better than the iPhone 15 panel, probably about the same as the 15 Pro panel. But the thing I like the most about this is that it gets 2600 nits of brightness. It is a substantially brighter panel than the Samsung Galaxy 55, which is something that I love a lot about my Galaxy S24. Now on top of that, you're getting USB Type-C port on the bottom. The A55 does have one advantage. It does actually kind of give you a microSD card slot inside of that phone, where the S24 is not giving you that. So this is probably one feature where I look at the A55 as probably being a slightly better than the Galaxy S24. So that once again is probably one thing to keep in mind there. The sides are about the same. They feel about the same on both. On the back, you're getting a frosted glass back on the back of the S24, whereas on the A55, you're getting a glass back, a standard glass back. Again, I don't think there's like big differences here, and I think both these phones do a really good job at kind of, again, handling a lot of stuff you throw at it. But I think, once again, if I'm going to go and pick up one, I definitely do like the Galaxy S24. I do think that is a, better feeling one. It's a more premium feeling device when it comes down to it. And that is the one that I look at as probably being the better one for probably a lot of people and the average person. I like both phones. Both of them give you wireless charging and things like that. But the Galaxy S24 is giving you reverse wireless charging, which is a really, really nice feature as well. So overall, definitely from the exterior, I look at a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S24, and I look at that one as probably being the better one, probably for the average person out there, than the A55. Another big thing though is within the price tag standpoint, a used Samsung Galaxy S24 could end up being cheaper than a brand new Samsung Galaxy A55. So that's a very big thing to keep in mind. If you're willing to go in the used market, I guess not even in the used market, I guess it's standard on Amazon right now. If you want to go certified refurbished or renewed, you can get that for less than $500, which is another very crazy thing to keep in mind here with that particular device as well. So again, if you're in the market and if you're okay getting a used device, it might make more sense to go swing for an S24 than a Galaxy A55 as of this point. So from those things, that kind of covers it up there. From the camera side, this is also a very big difference. So for one, you're getting a triple camera setup on both of them, which could mean and think to your head that they're about the same thing. Not the case at all. The Galaxy A55 is giving you a 50 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, then a 5 megapixel micro lens, where the Galaxy S24 is giving you a 50 megapixel wide, 10 megapixel telephoto, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. What I can tell you in my personal opinion is that on a phone like the Samsung Galaxy A55, that camera, it's not terrible. It's not a terrible camera, and it's good enough for the most part. Like, if you're trying to go through and do basic stuff, it's probably going to be fine, right? But the Galaxy S24 camera is like the best camera you can buy in this day and age, and you are going to be getting a substantially better camera inside of something like the Samsung Galaxy S24 than the Galaxy A55. For starters, there's more features built inside of the S24 camera, but the big thing here is that with the Galaxy S24, you are getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back, and you're getting 8K capability inside of that phone. On the Galaxy A55, you're not even getting 4K at 60 on the front and the back, you're just getting 4K at 30. So this is like a pretty big turnoff, I would say, at least personally for me, because if I'm going through and buying a phone, I definitely want it to have as great of a capability as possible. And with my Galaxy S24, that is going to be probably one of the best cameras you can probably buy. That is something I love about that phone. I love the Galaxy S24 a lot, and that is by far, like I mentioned before, one of the better devices for sure. I think with the Galaxy A55, it's a good camera. Like if you just need to have a camera, then go for it. And it's not a bad camera, but the S24 is just substantially better, and that's exactly how I feel about these particular devices. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there as well. From the performance side, well, from the software side, both these phones are still supported with software, but you could probably imagine the Galaxy S24 is going to be a longer lasting phone than the A55. So this in and of itself, once again, is another very big thing to keep in mind here too. If I'm going to go through purchase a device, the Galaxy S24 is going to be a longer lasting phone than the Galaxy A55. That phone's lasting like 7 years of software and security updates, which is crazy. The A55 is not lasting that long. So keep that in mind there as well. And from the performance side, this is another very big thing. The Galaxy A55 is giving you this Exynos 1480 chipset inside with 6 or 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM, but the Galaxy S24 is giving you that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset inside with 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM inside of that phone. And I'll definitely tell you, as you probably could have imagined, a phone like the Samsung Galaxy S24 is once again going to be the substantially better performing device when it comes down to it over the Galaxy A55. And that's not a terrible thing. I think that's probably what you'd expect, or the average person would expect. And I would definitely say with a phone like the Galaxy A55, you are getting a device that's still going to be holding up very well in a lot of different ways. And that's something I like a lot about both these phones. I think with the Galaxy A55, it's still good enough. And if you're wanting to go ahead and just, kind of do basic stuff throughout, you're going to be perfectly fine. And even if you want to do more resource intensive stuff, you're still going to be having a really good time with that particular device as well. But it just kind of goes to show that I think the Galaxy S24 in almost every single way is going to be a better performing device than for something like the Galaxy A55, in my personal opinion. And you could probably see this, it's quite evident. But again, that's just kind of what ends up happening when you're getting these two types of devices. So overall, what I can definitely tell you is that between both these phones, I like both these phones a lot, right? Both these phones are very, very good, but there's a lot of ways in which the Galaxy S24 is still substantially, in my personal opinion, the better device to go and buy than the Galaxy A55. I think there's some room you can make and kind of make the argument that the Galaxy A55 could be a better phone here and there. But I look at a phone like the Samsung Galaxy A55 and, it just doesn't really hold up that well. I think the only way the A55 kind of holds up decently well is with the battery performance and with the microSD card slot. Other than that, it makes a lot more sense to go and buy something like a Samsung Galaxy S24 in the used market than a brand new Samsung Galaxy A55. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.